you guys is like, I just have to talk to you about like serious matter and shit. Like ADD is not like someone's a joke with. That's like, I feel like the toughest category of like bullying today's, because like it's so easy to set us off or whatever, like, because it's like your quirks become like a joke. And like my old boss used to say, like, I think like you like intentionally like to piss me off. And it's really hard because I feel like we try to like, we put people before ourselves, so we're always thinking about other people. Because like we're capable of thinking for ourselves, but like we've also processed like each individual's like quirks, and went out of our way to just like hope they realize you went out of your way and like made it special for them. And like ADD is like you doing that to the next level like 100 times per second for everything that's around you. So I feel like with people, like we have it hard because like people with ADD, it's like we have an excuse for why it's like that. Like, so like if we know our excuse or a reasoning behind why what it went down, how the way it went down. I don't know, like, I just feel like a really bad kid as an adult. Like, I don't feel like I was a bad kid when I was a kid, but now I'm a bad kid as an adult. Like, at work, people just, the manager, everybody would just, like, stay put, like, stay here. And I'm just like, come on, like, I could be doing 20 other things right now. Why am I just staying here, So like 100 times, like, in my shift, it just became like a running joke, like, why aren't you where you're supposed to be? And I worked in like a drive-through scenario for like 10 years of my life, so then running to a new cafe that has no drive-through, so I don't have that freedom to just run. It became like a joke, like what, like, you're bad, like, why are you not where you're supposed to be? I told you to stay here and you didn't stay here. So, this is hard. So you just want to make them proud. So then, like, you want to know that, like I didn't stay where you told me to go, but I did this, and that, and you want them to be all proud about you. And I don't know, like, my doctors even just told me that, she's like, just tell them to, tell you, like, what their game plan is with you. And I tell them, like, what do you want me to do? Like, so, like, it's very simple, like, just stay, like, up in front, like, so when somebody comes in, you can greet them, like, I get it. But, like, literally, no matter what, like, the second you leave, even if you sat up there for, like, as long as you could stay, like, to me, it's, like, just a couple minutes, but the second you leave, like, a manager then comes up and, like, right, around from that, and then catches you, and you're like, and they think that they've been standing there for 5-10 minutes or something, like, you've been gone forever, and literally I just walked away for a second, and like, it had to be done, like, somebody, like, had some demand over here, so, like, it's hard to communicate to that person that person needed me right now, and I didn't want to leave because you told me not to leave, but now I have to not let this person down. so much and so forth. So anyway, so I'm thinking like, should I stay here? Should I not stay here? Anyway. That's just little bits and pieces, and it's just like people think they have easy guidance. They're like, when you can't focus, just concentrate or just focus. You can just do it if you just put your mind to it. Or like how I get bored at like the stupidest, mundane, easiest things. Like I'd rather juggle 20 things at one time to keep my mind like at ease, rather than just do one thing. You know what I mean? But ADD is like you're misbehaving without trying to misbehave, but like everybody else sees like your behavior and how it's mundane or how it's out of the ordinary, like, you know what I mean? But people turn it into like a bullying kind of aspect and turn it against you to be like, oh, like, you know, he doesn't ever finish anything he starts. You know, it's just very daunting. Like you try your hardest like to keep things where, you know, once you like make a smoothie, you put it in the fucking cup, because otherwise you might get left in the fucking blender because you went to do something else. But it's like to the extreme. Like this happens way more than anybody else. It just doesn't happen like once a month, once a week. This is like 20 times a day that you literally like, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to plug in the cooler and all the food's gone bad. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to hit the start timer. And you burnt everything because A.D.D was me just feeling and sensing the wind at the door open upstairs, and it got me all like anxiety, panic attack. That like I couldn't talk freely because I still don't have a door up over there. I'm not allowed to put up a door, but all the other rooms have a door, so I have no privacy. So I'm always just very anxious about everything. The ADD is me going upstairs to check that the door was, in fact, just open for whatever reason. And I had to go shut it. That's ADD, so, like, whatever. Will the door keep opening? Well, literally, I just try to, like, keep it up. Keep opening. That's really weird. Push on it. Anyway, that's fucking creepy as fuck. And ADD's that happening twice for ironic reasons. It's like God's just testing me right now. Like my dad swears he didn't just open it, but literally, like, the door shuts and turn. I don't know. ADD is me wondering beyond all that stuff, that it's like a greater being that just opened the door or something like that. It was like time, like a test of fate or a test of whatever. But ADD is just like, when I was in high school, you see all the kids that were like in special needs and stuff like that. I never made it there, but I was put in like a really reduced like math. Like people, like all these kids couldn't do like 5 + 5 = 10 or something. But I was like A+ in that class. But then they moved me up to like the real math class where it was 10th grade, and that's where I was F's. And I feel like that's how I am in the world around me. Is that like I might go beyond and whatever and excel on some other stupid things. They're stupid things, and I can't even do what's easily and basically told me. You know what I mean? It's like just like a joke that just stay here or just do this. Like no matter what, like whatever they say, I'm always like not done. Like I'll be like cleaning 90% of everything and it looks fantastic, and then 90% of it, and then like over here like 10% of it, like I didn't even sweep, didn't even mop. I totally missed this, you know. And you feel like you're let yourself down because in the moment when you're cleaning, you're like, this looks fucking great, and then when the person comes to observe and check out what you've done, they point out like, you know, you totally missed this, right? And you're like, how did I miss that? Like what? Like ADD's me like just buying like my brand new e-cig because I'm trying not to smoke, and I go to buy like some vape oil at this place, and I was so excited, like I just got it, and like that's me me buying the vape oils and then leaving my e-cigarette on the counter as I'm walking out. The girl goes, do you want your e-cig? Like you just spent $250, $300 on this stuff, and you're like, oh, how could I forget? I got the vape oil, but I forgot the. That's happening at every single place I go. Like literally, if I'm not leaving one thing, I'm leaving another thing. If I always have to go back for one thing, like I'll leave the house and not have my phone, and be like, that's the only thing I needed, and I didn't bring the only thing I needed. ADD is me having to smoke weed to like feel normal, and I had so much over me. And I realized that like I wanted to just like kill myself and die, and then find out that just smoking some weed just stops all that. And then you realize, what am I so stressed over? And you're like, I'm gonna get some overdraft fees because I forgot to. And then you think about what it really is, and you're like, I just wanted to freak out over it. But ADD is like not being able to slow down in that moment. Like that moment, that's when you get caught up in life around you. ADD is me being sorry for everybody that I've ever caused them to have an episode and get upset or have a bad day. I never intended that. But they know this. But it takes a while for people to understand that my hijinks and what makes me are like not ever fucking intentional. And that's what's crazy about everything. Like, I'm gonna go back to my doctor and just be like, you know, my probation officer is like da 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 da, and I can't even explain things to him. And I don't know. ADD is me not staying on one topic for. What are we talking about? Right? Like, no. Seriously though, it's so many. ADD is like not putting yourself first. You know, if you always put other people, you know, before yourself and never put yourself first, that sucks. But no, what I wanted to just talk about in the video is that ADD is like you having overdraft fees or thinking you know how to manage your money and then not having all the funds, or time and time again, you know, I don't know, you don't respond to your friends, and you know you really do care. You like forget to reply, which sounds crazy, like you don't really care, but you do really care. You just forget to get back to them, even though you like know you were gonna. I don't know. AD is like not saying happy birthday to all your friends, even though you intended to, and by that time it's tomorrow, and then it's weird to like say happy birthday. Sometimes it's okay, but like you feel like you shouldn't be obligated to say it now because it's already passed, and now it's 2, 3, 4, 5 days later. You really don't want to say it because you're like, oh my god, I saw all the posts on your Facebook, now I care. Like, no, you thought about it, but then you were like too scared to get to the phone because you were worried that, I don't know, it's so many worries, and because you're so hyperactive and you're attentive to so many hyperactive things. Like I'm listening to music and I feel like half the time I think somebody calls my name, because half the time they're always looking for me, because half the time I'm never in the right place where I'm supposed to be at. And ADD is me just forgetting about like what we were just talking about, which is okay when you're alone and you don't have to deal with people like dealing with you because you're special needs you know. ADD is like when you don't have school any longer and you're not categorized. You're like, you're the talk of the everything. You're like the butt of all the jokes because it's so easy to do it because you're doing the same damn things all the time. ADD is like you always being late for work or always being late to everything, not just work. It's everything. You're late for everything. Even though you want to be a half hour early, you end up doing more things before that half an hour goes by. And then you're late because then you're caught up in traffic because you didn't intend for the traffic to be backed up because you intended to be taking the amount of time you know it should take. Like, you know, on a normal day, if it takes 8 minutes to get someplace, it normally will take 8 minutes to get someplace. It doesn't like, you're on LA traffic over here, you know what I mean? It's not like you're just in for 4 or 5 hours, you try to get there early. Like, no, you can pretty much time your life that you know you take 8 minutes here, you can do, you know, it's going to be like that unless you have backups or you have like road construction or road blockage. If you go to that same path, it doesn't take you that long to do it. If you take a walk, it's pretty much the same thing. If a walk takes you an hour to take a walk, you know, that's what it's going to take you when it takes you a walk. You know, if you run, then you go faster, you know. So you go 5 over the speed limit because you can, and then you push the boundaries, and that's what ADD is because you're taking that risk or you're going that extra mile. You can't just do that. You gotta go extra. But I got all the dishes done while I was in the back, you know. I got yelled at 500 times, and I didn't do what they told me to do, but I did everything else. Put everybody else first instead of me. But and ADD is like you wanting to die now because you feel like you let the world down and everybody around you. ADD sucks because like when you know that you were the cause of the issues, like when you sit down and think about it 15 minutes later, and how you could have resolved a lot of things and done things differently, it's usually always your fault. Like, and you realize this, and then you try to change it, but the same thing happens. Like the same argument happens with the same issues that you could have similarly walked from, but you never walk away because you're a fighter and you just go for it, and you're a go-getter. So let's take it easy, and that's what ADD is to me.